Hello there, it's a lovely Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast. I am Mike Okwoche, but certainly I'm not alone. I have my ladies with me in the house, and they are my co-presenters this morning. Kemi Foladeyemo is here.
Mike.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
And Veronica Danikbo is here as well. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Great. I'm blessed amongst women this morning, as usual on Wednesdays. I think Wednesdays are my most blessed days now.
Great.
Now, it's World Teachers Day today. And I recall this reminded me of some of the radio stations. In fact, I was listening to radio station one time, I think a few years ago, where people were, told to, call some of their teachers. They have, teachers way back to call them and then appreciate them and all of that. And then there was this lady who called, I think she called from the United States into the radio station. And then the radio station had to call the teacher. It was all on radio. And then I think she had found out from the background some of the challenges the teacher had been going through and all of that. And right there on radio, she called, gave the teacher a sponsorship trip to the United States. Wow. Right there on radio. It was super. The teacher broke down. She was crying. But you could feel the emotions. Right. The point there is, when it comes to the accomplishment, the contribution, and effort of teachers, I don't think they are appreciated enough.
It reminds me of my secondary school reunion that happened recently, just a few weeks back.
Oh, yours happened too?
Yes.
Just like ours.
Just a few weeks back. And, we had to invite some of our teachers in secondary school for this reunion. And they were so emotional, like we remembered them. Yeah. And it was a thing of pride for them to see how far we have come and that their efforts were not in vain and that we could also remember them afterwards, to share in our joy and accomplishment. Yeah. And it's a thing that I think that a lot of people should imbibe. We can't thank these people enough. We have become what we are because of them.
Because of them, exactly.
Yes, we know there are challenges. The government, on its part, has to empower these people. But we used to say their reward is in heaven. But, they can certainly get their reward right here if we remember what they have done to bring us thus far. Yeah. Really.
I can totally relate with what you both have said. Yeah. And to second Veronica's, session earlier, we really are who we are because of our teachers, and especially foundational teachers. Because if you listen to some children, if you try to correct them, sometimes they will argue with you, no, my teacher said something else.
So the teacher, after the parent, the teachers are the gods.
You could even argue further that before the parents, I've had experiences where, this is correct. And then they will say, no, my teacher said otherwise.
Said this, yeah.
So, but while we cannot, talk about the immense values they bring, I think it also underscores the importance and how professional that profession should be, because these days now we have all kinds of teachers. Of course, we give it up to the very good ones, but then this is a department or subsector that we really need to pay more attention to, appreciate them more, government level and even person to person. And of course, put in more and more efforts to revive the sector and give the sector, that boost it needs. ICT-wise, of course, we can't talk enough about that, how many teachers are having to still use manual tools to teach ICT compliant.
The chalk on the blackboard.
Absolutely.
Like you're seeing on the screen
Forgetting
right now.
that this time around, we are dealing with ICT compliant pupils and students, and so our teachers also need to be at par with the kind of knowledge that they are churning out.
Absolutely. And to take that conversation further, you see that the condition of some schools where the children do not even have seats to sit on. I wonder what, the offices of those teachers will be, where the students cannot have to sit on the chairs, on the floor rather, and then, the necessary equipment needed is not provided for the teachers. So it's also concerning. Government has to look into that. With regards to ICT, Lagos State is doing a lot with regards to that. And I believe that some states should begin to emulate what Lagos State is doing when it comes to ICT and all of it, because it has trained some teachers with regards to this. It has provided the necessary equipment for them to be able to use some of these tools, while teaching in schools?
Yeah, I think it's quite necessary, because the issue there is, I know that, I recall sitting down, in class where the teacher will come write in chalk on the blackboard, and then those days, and then why are you making me feel like a dinosaur or an ancestor?
Don't worry.
It's just few decades here, just few decades.
Don't worry, it's not alone.
Oh, we are together. Very good.
We can relate.
Very,
but
it's quite interesting though. And those days when you have to write in chalk and all of that, if you see the metamorphosis of development right now in some of the schools, they have sensitive blackboards where you can touch things. It's internet compliant, touch screens, and all of that. And then whatever you want, you just do it right there on the blackboard, and it's amazing. I think we have to be very intentional when it comes to transforming the education, whether it's the private or public. In Rwanda, we've been talking about Rwanda here over the years. Rwanda, where public schools are taking over everywhere. In fact, private schools are closing down. Of course, we have a society where it's not to say public schools are better. We have a mix, it's fine. But the point there is that we're talking of the intention of government investing in education. That's what the crux is.
Absolutely. And they are also calling on government, the NUT, National Union of Teachers, Nigerian Union of Teachers, I think, asking governments, those state government that haven't paid arrears of the teachers to do so. And it's important to call on state governments to improve